Kay, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, I mean, last week, a lot of information out there with what the Surgeon General was recommending about alcohol and about putting a warning label on alcohol about the fact that it could potentially cause cancer. What was your initial reaction to that recommendation by the Surgeon General?
Well, I was surprised. I think, we're all human beings, and many of us think of alcohol as a social activity. We have, a glass of wine with dinner or with friends, and it just it shocks the system a little bit to think, that it could be so important.
Mm,
And, it's the third leading preventable cause of cancer. That was really shocking.
yeah. And that's the other thing too is being on the news, we have so many different studies. One study says that a glass of red wine is good for heart health. Another study comes out and says red wine is not good for you. So it can be confusing sometimes. So how do you approach it with the people that you are coaching or with some of the folks that you were talking to on a daily basis just about nutrition and alcohol use in general?
Well, the work I do actually is around weight loss, and I have to say that it's a big problem that for people who are trying to lose weight, alcohol can be the number one thing they just have a hard time with
Mm,
making a transition. And then we usually what I'm telling them is just cut back.
mm,
If you were having 2 glasses of wine a day, let's cut back little by little to kind of something that will allow you to lose weight. But I think with this new information out there, I think it changes things a little bit. That
mm.
people may think twice, especially for women with breast cancer. It's the leading cause of alcohol related cancer for women.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing, certainly with women and breast cancer, a huge, huge red flag. And we do need to point out, too, that this is not necessarily even going to go into effect. The Surgeon General just made this recommendation, and then even for this to go into effect, it would have to get through Congress. So this might not even actually happen, especially with lobbyists, having a big impact in
Right.
DC. But this is making headlines all across the country
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. It's food for thought. It's just makes you think, what should I be doing?
Mhm. And real quick too, alcoholic beverages, they do have a lot of calories, right? And talk about just a serving size. What is an actual serving size for a glass of wine or a beer?
Yes, for a glass of wine, it's 5 ounces, and the equivalent in a regular beer would be 12 ounces. And for spirits, it's 1.5 ounces, the jigger. So that gives you the same amount of equivalent amount of alcohol, but they're very different in terms of calories and carbohydrates. Beer and wine are very high in carbohydrates and can be pretty high in calories. And distilled spirits are a little bit less. Um, so
Yeah,
with some people, I suggest, if they really want to have something that's less caloric, you can have a lighter beer, you can dilute your wine, or you could have a distilled spirit.
yeah, a 5 ounce serving of wine. You got to keep that in mind. It's not an 8 ounce or a 9 ounce pour, which is what a lot of restaurants give. Sometimes you can get a 12 ounce pour, and that clearly is not a one serving.
Correct. Yeah, that would be 2 servings almost
Yeah.
for the wine.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Kay, thank you so much for your insight. We really appreciate your perspective, and I'm sure that we will talk with you later on if any other nutrition topics come about. We always look forward to talking with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.